you for tuning in to Glorious Vision Television. My name is Tope Oginni,
and you are welcome to Live Tips. If today is your first time of
joining into this program, this is Live Tips, a program designed for all categories of individuals to offer safety advice, safety information, and where
life and safety matters are concerned.
It is to help you to guide against every possible dangers within and outside your home. It is to help you to stay alive, stay healthy, and also to help you to know your safety rights and your safety
responsibility.
Everything that you need to know about life matters, life tips, safety tips
is what we normally discuss on this
program. So you are welcome on board if today is your first time. On today's episode of Life Tips, I'll be discussing
a topic
that's cut across everyone.
It's very important to every one of us, and I know that many people lack adequate information and knowledge about this particular topic, and it's very important that at least the basic part of it is what I'm going to be
talking about, because I'm not an
health practitioner. I am not a doctor. I am not any health practitioner. So I'm going to discuss, I'll be discussing just the basics. So the topic is Introduction to First Aid. Introduction to First Aid. We want to look at what it is, why it matters, and when to use it. I know that a lot of things, most times when some accidents happen, you hear people say, if they have used first aid, they should have applied first aid, they should have applied first aid, even when first aid is not what should have been applied
in that sense.
So a lot of people misuse the word first aid. A lot of people don't have the understanding of what first aid is all about. There are some things that you don't need first aid. Immediately it happens. What you need to do is to just take that person straight to the hospital. Even at times when you try, there's a limit to what you can do with the first aid that we are talking about. So you don't continue to do first aid when you are not
getting any immediate response, or you are not seeing any sign of
improvement on what you are applying your first aid. But you see some people, they will continue to hope that
it will work
until they will lose that person. So today we want to just look at the
basic thing, what it is, why it matters, and when to use it.
Life is
unpredictable, yes. 1 minute everything is normal,
the next minute someone is
building,
someone is bleeding, choking, fainting, or burned out. So life is just unpredictable, and that's why it is called first aid. First aid, when all of these things, the bleeding, the choking, fainting, burned out, somebody fell down, injuries, you need the first aid. Now, in those first few minutes before any doctor arrives, what you do can save a life or make things worse. I said it. What you do can either save that life or make things worse if you don't understand first aid, how to apply first aid. That is where first aid comes in. First aid is not for hospitals alone. It starts with you, and that's why every home, and I'm sure if you enter most homes now,
you may discover that you will not see first aid box in that home. And that's why when
things happen,
you see people running outside, calling their neighbors, and those ones will be
bringing one traditional medicine for them to use, which, like we said, that it can either save a life or make things worse. But if you have the right thing at home immediately, and you understand how to use it, immediately it happens, you apply it to save that life at that moment. But that does not mean that you should not take that person to hospital, but it will save that person from passing away immediately.
So now, like I said, first aid starts with you. Like
at home, on the road, at school, in church, at work, even church. First aid should be in churches. Workplace, we should have first aid. On the road, you might ask me, how do we do on the road? In your bag, you can have some, we know that some accidents, like you hit your head and there's little bleeding, that you need to use cotton wool to clean, or just use water to clean the face before you can apply anything on them, At work, then every family
should understand it. Every workplace should
understand how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, not just
having it.
You can invite experts, health practitioners to come
And
lecture you, train your
staff
or whosoever is going to be in charge of it to train that person who is going to be in charge of it in case, or train all the staff if possible. In case the only person you train is not available, what happens?
So now, what is first aid? First aid is the first help given to a person who is injured or suddenly fall ill before professional medical help arrives. It is
also a quick care. You can also say it is a simple care. You can say
it is emergency
care. All and in place to say this is what first aid is all about. It is just
anything
first, fast, quick,
emergency,
simple. Now,
first aid helps to stop
bleeding. It will help to reduce pain, prevent infections, keep the person alive, prevent the injury from getting worse. But it is not treatment. It is temporary help that helps to buy time before you take that person to the nearest hospital. It is just to help you to buy the time, why
what could have been worsened.
When you apply first aid, it helps to buy
time before you take that person to the nearest hospital. So most of you that
you normally take first aid as treatment, it is not treatment. It is just first aid to save that person at that particular time before medical practitioner or before
you take that person to the hospital. So some of you at times,
when you have done that, you feel that, because the building had stopped, you want to say, the person is okay. Not until in the night when the thing now turns to something else, when the pain, or when you think that it's over, then suddenly it just comes up again. That's why it is never a treatment.
You still need to take that person to the hospital. Why first aid matters? Because emergencies don't wait for doctors. Yes, your emergency, somebody that suddenly started bleeding, somebody that
had an injury,
or maybe while the person is in the kitchen, hot oil, pour on that person's body, boiled water, pour on that person's body,
and you are not a medical doctor, you are not a medical practitioner, and no in your family is one, and you can't even get anyone very close.
You still have to go. So
what are we saying?
Because emergencies don't wait for doctors, so that's why you need first aid in your home. Because ambulances will take time before they come. Even if you call ambulance, it's not like every ambulance is on everybody's street. You still have to call them and where they are coming from. And again, you have to consider that we are in Nigeria. Traffic issues, we have to consider all of these things.
Because small injuries
can become big
problems if not
attended to immediately.
That's some small injury. You may think that it is small now, but you never can tell the extent
of that injury until when you get to the hospital.
So, but if
you are able to apply your first aid, like I said, you use it to buy time.
Because quick
action saves lives. When you
act quickly, immediately it will save that person's
life even before the person gets to the hospital. Most of the deaths that are normally recorded is as a result of people not understanding, not having basic knowledge of this first aid. Something that they will have done even within their home before they take that person. Like all this CPR that people are always talking about everywhere. When people slump, faint, that if you can find somebody who understands the CPR and can quickly perform it on that person, it can save that life before you quickly take that person to the hospital. But how many people know how to apply CPR? How many people even understand what CPR is all about? That's why you see people will fall down, people will slump, Even at times, the way you carry them too has a way of affecting their body if this first aid is not applied. So a simple cut can become infected. Yes, a simple cut like that. If you don't apply first aid before you take it to the hospital within your home, that simple cut can become infected. That can result into a bigger problem even before you get to the hospital. A small burn can become serious. A fainting person can stop breathing if you don't know how to perform CPR. Somebody that slumped. A choking person can die in minutes if you don't know what you are supposed to do to help them out. So first aid turns ordinary people into lifesavers. Yes, you are not a doctor, you are not a medical person, but you understand the basics of first aid. And because of that, if you are the type that understand it, once something happens and you ask them, do you have first aid box in your home? And they said yes. The person will just bring it out. The person knows what and what to use, to pick, to apply on that particular accident. And you see that the person will be fine for that moment before they are rushed to the hospital for proper treatment. When should first aid be used? First aid should be used when someone is bleeding. When someone is bleeding, when someone has a burn, when someone has fainted, when someone is choking, when someone has collapsed, when someone has had an accident, when someone is in pain from injury, when someone is suddenly ill. There's some drugs that you can take that can help you before you go to the hospital. If the situation looks serious, give first aid and call for medical help immediately. Yes, we have been talking about first aid. It is good to know how to use first aid, but the point is that if that situation looks serious, like a story that I heard about somebody who died recently, you know, the moment you've been applying this, applying that, and you see that the person is not responding, you cannot say for 30 minutes you are still trying to apply first aid and you are not seeing any improvement on that person. You should know that this is a serious case and it's not something that your first aid can manage again. So the next thing you need to do is to take that person immediately to the hospital. Rush to the hospital. That is it. But like I said, most people normally make this mistake. They will still be hoping that, oh, things will get better. Let's wait and see. Let's wait. It is not a matter of wait and see. It is a matter of just making sure that it doesn't get worse. So what you need to do is call for medical help immediately. Do not wait. Do not assume. Yes, stop assuming that or hoping that let's wait and see and see. A lot of people have said that let's wait and see, and the person just died like that. The person just died without even being able to revive that person. When they got to the hospital, the doctor told them the person you brought in here is already dead before you get here. Why? Because what you are supposed to do immediately, first aid is not meant to stay too long. A situation where you get to the hospital and they begin to say, this person has lost a lot of blood. First aid will help you to save that blood from gushing out too much. You know, you will always have something in your first aid that will help you to stop the bleeding from getting too much, you know. But if you don't have all of that, then it becomes a problem. By the time you get to the hospital, that's when you hear, oh, the person has lost a lot of blood. So it's very important that you have all of these things that you know. So do not wait. The rule is do not. Now, if the situation looks serious, give first aid and call for medical help immediately. Please do not wait. Do not assume and do not delay. Don't say you want to look at the person's face. It is called first aid, not the treatment. The golden rules of first aid says that when any of this issue happens, like the bleeding, like the injury, like whatever, you know, the slumping, the collapsing, and he said, you must stay calm. Yes, a lot of people will want to panic, and it is the panic that is even getting the situation worsen. So what you need to do at that point is please stay calm. Panic helps nobody, so don't panic. Don't panic. Try and calm yourself. This will help you more to reason well, to think very well. The next golden rule of first aid is make the area safe. Don't become another victim. Don't become another victim. While you are trying to save a victim, you yourself should not fall a victim in trying to save somebody. Check the person. Check the person. Is the person still breathing? Still bleeding? conscious. These are the things that you must know. You must ensure that you check all of these things. The breathing, you must check if the person is still breathing, if the breathing has stopped or is becoming worsen. Is the person conscious as you are calling the person's name, as you are shouting the person's name? Bola, Bola, is the person responding? Yes, they are responding. The moment you are shouting their name or calling their name and they are not responding, then you should know that, like I said, it's not something that you should delay or you should be assuming anymore. Give quick help based on what you know. You should give help based on what you know, not based on assumption that what if we use this, if we try this. You don't do that when it comes to medical situation or medical emergency. You are not a medical practitioner. A lot of us like to do that. We want to assume, what if you use paracetamol? Maybe a headache will leave you. What if you use hot water to massage your body? Maybe the pains will disappear. We assume a lot. We assume, as long as you are not a medical practitioner, we should stop all of these things. So give help based on what you know and you are sure of. Anything that you are not sure of, please don't say you want to give it. Some people will say, oh yes, I know. When something like this happens, I know what you can do. Okay, give that person water. Give that person where you are not. You know that some health conditions that you are not supposed to give water. For accident victim, they will ask you for water. You are not supposed to give them water. If you give the person water, the person will pass away. So that's why you see that sometimes for accident victim, for those who understand, when they ask for water, you don't give them. If not, they drink the water and they pass away. Not many people has this knowledge. But so, like I said, if you happen to be in a situation where there's accident, like, and you see somebody asking for water and you have bottled water in your hand, will you not give it to that person? Please, always assist. Give quick help based on what you know and you are sure of that is going to work. If you don't, please advise them to take that person to the hospital immediately. Call for medical help if needed. Yes, if you feel that this is beyond your first aid, please call for medical help. And that's why everybody should have family doctor. In case of situations like this, you should have your family doctor, where you can always, if in a situation like that, maybe it's something that your doctor can say, okay, do this for that person before you bring him or her to the clinic. Every family should have a family doctor that is attending to them, that is attending to the family case. So in case of situation like this, you can always call for help. But when you don't have any family doctor, that's why you begin to go to all these nurses, all this what is it called? All this auxiliary, all these nurses that are still learning. You go to them because of what they saw their doctors do in their presence. They feel that is what they can apply to everybody. They don't understand that all situations differ, and what you apply to them also differ. What works for A may not work for B. So, like I said, call for help. Call for medical help. You should have your family doctor number. You should have ambulance number. You should have your neighbor's number in case of any emergency. You should have your security personnel, your gatesman. You should have their numbers. These are things that a lot of people get careless about things like this. I believe one day we are going to talk about something like this too. Yes, I'm going to bring a topic like this in which, when there are emergency situations, who are the people that you need to call for help or for assistance. We need to talk about that. We'll discuss that on this program in our subsequent edition. So, like I'm saying, you need to have all these people number, your family doctor, your nurse, I'm not talking about nurse that is still learning work, somebody that you know that is very good, that maybe you don't understand the first aid, you can call. At least a nurse should be able to be able to use first aid, so that you can always call them. So you can call for medical help. You can also have somebody, maybe you don't have a car. You should have somebody who has a car that you can always call in case of any emergency to come and assist you. Very, very important. In conclusion, first aid is not about being perfect. Yes, it's not like you have to be perfect to know how to use first aid. It is about being prepared. First aid is all about, you have to be prepared. Like I'm telling you now, maybe you don't have it. Now you understand that it doesn't cost much to have one. I'm telling you, it doesn't cost much. But if you don't have it, it's going to cost much, much more than whatever you can imagine. By the time you get to the hospital, the money they will be requesting for, or the things that you will need,
this is what your first aid will have
have saved you. So by the time you get to the hospital, they will see that, oh, it's not like it's an emergency
thing that they have to be running around. It's just
something that, okay, you've been able to
do this part,
and this is the part of it that they have to perfect on what you have started. It is not about fear. It is not about fear. It is not to create fear in anybody.
It is also
about readiness. How ready are you? You parents or
mothers
that you have little
children, and you know
our children very restless.
You know, very restless. At times,
some children we fall down,
be playing,
they fall down. Sometimes some of them will swallow things that will choke them,
and you will see mothers,
people telling them,
go and use
palm oil, go and use it. These are some of the things that
if you have
your
first aid box,
there are things there that you can use at least to save them before you take them to the hospital. One day, your knowledge may save a stranger. It is very, very important. Or a friend, or a child. It may not even be for you. It may be that you have it in your own home, in your own apartment, and it happens. There's a fall, or there's an accident with a friend, a neighbor's child, you know.
Or someone you know, or someone you love.
This is when
you become a lifesaver.
You now
become a lifesaver.
And that makes first aid one of the most powerful skills any family can have. So this is New Year. If you don't have it, please, I am putting it to you that you should please try and visit any pharmacy and tell them that you need what are the kind of drugs that you need to have in your first aid box. It doesn't have to be something big.
There are sizes to them. But just ensure that you have the important thing. You know, we should know by now that there are some common accidents that normally happen within the home, like you are cooking in the kitchen, hot water, you know, maybe there's a sleep, maybe children, they swallow something that choked them and all of that. These are some of the things that, you know, there's some common things, common accidents that normally happen within the home. So please, I am putting it to you that you should please, after watching this program, please visit any pharmacy and tell them that you need. You believe that some people, even ordinary paracetamol, they don't have it at home. It's not. You should have some of these things that you should have that will save life before the money comes, that will relieve your family member. I have them. And I always encourage people around me that you must make sure that you have all these things. You know, there are times some people during the night, they can just develop this stomach upset, start going to toilets, you know. There are things that you can use at that moment that would save you before the money that you go and visit your doctor and they ask you to run some tests to know what is actually wrong with you before it becomes bigger problem. So I'm saying it again, please try and visit a pharmacy. There are sizes. You don't have to get a bigger one. There are sizes that can be used within your small setting of family. Thank you so much. This has come to the end of today's episode of Life Tips. I want to say thank you to as many who are able to join me on today's episode of Life Tips. And I want to say thank you to the production crew for making today's production a great success. Until I come your way again on another exciting episode of Life Tips. Don't forget, on Life Tips, we will always help you to stay alert so that you don't get out. Thank you and bye for now.